What's up, everybody?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yep.
It's odd recording time for us.
Rainy.
It has been a miserable day.
It has. I'm like, man, it's been miserable for like a while.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because how much has it rained over the last 10 to 14 days?
Oh, gosh, I don't even know. I haven't tracked it, but it's been a lot.
That's what I flip my rain gauges over so they don't freeze and bust on me, but I actually flipped mine back over last night because I knew it was a big rain event.
Yeah.
And I just dumped out 2 inches.
Dang.
It's rained 2 inches since, about 9 or 10 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
And, but I bet it's rained. We got to be over 6 inches over the last 10 days or so.
I would think so. I mean,
it might be over 10. I mean,
yeah,
it's just mud. It's just, everything's just beyond muddy.
It's terrible. This is actually, I've thought about this. It's kind of funny. This time of year, man, I get like, I'm almost anxious all the time.
Oh,
like, I've got, like, right now, like, even today, I'm like, and I lifted pretty hard. Like, one good thing is I lift a lot harder in the wintertime. Like, that's when I usually get back in shape. But I'm also, like, bordering on a anxiety attack, like, 90% of the time. And I think it's just because I'm, like, I have nothing else to do when it's like this, so I'm, like, on my phone constantly, which I'm sure drives the anxiety. And then, like, I'm just like, there ain't shit to do. Like, this is the one time when I do envy, like, having a job to go to where you can, even when it's shitty, you still gotta go to work. I mean, and there's odd end things I can do, but like.
Well, goes back to something you said a few weeks ago, having like an fully enclosed and like, especially if you could have even a heated shop.
Yeah.
Where you could get in there and you could like legitimately have some projects to work on,
Yeah.
Whether it be a hobby project or actually
just something. Yeah.
Getting the planter ready for spring or whatever. But, man, it's, my happy spot because, I have my regular day job at the vet clinic. It's out in pasture with the cows. Like, I enjoy that. But, like, when you're out there and it's just sopping mud, so that sucks every bit of fun out of that.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I almost get, like, depressed. Like, today being Wednesday was my day off, and I was out there. I actually was pretty productive today in spite of the weather, but, man, it's just miserable. And then, like, when I'm in the house, and, like, it's warm. I don't know what the temperature is in 50s.
Yeah, 50, 60 something.
But, so it's not like that 35 degrees and raining, which that drives my anxiety.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I just stare out the back window of the house, the cows just standing out there, just hunkered up, just getting pounded by the rain and the cold. And it's just, man. And I know, like, again, like days like today, it's warm enough. They're fine. Like,
oh, yeah.
I even got 2 new calves. They're totally fine. But it's just, man. And then having to feed hay, and we're kind of starting to get into that. And it's just a muddy, miserable mess. That's why, have you looked at the extended forecast?
No, more coming?
We have actually, I think we're actually should be done with the big rain chances for a while, but this time next week.
Oh, snow.
Well, a potential for snow, but just the cold temperatures we're going to have, I guess starting, I think it's maybe next Thursday, so a week after this one drops.
Yeah.
We have like 3 or 4 days in a row where it doesn't get above freezing.
Oh, wow. Well.
But pretty much like Thursday through Christmas Day, it's not going to get above freezing. I was like, hell yeah, frozen ground.
I was going to say, it'll
take it a few days to really get the ground hard. But I need to move some more hay home.
Yeah.
Most all of my hay I got moved home. Well, I left some that I baled at my dad's house, stacked there in the field. And like you couldn't even think about moving it right now. You'd rut everything up. But that ground gets good and hard. I'm already looking. Christmas Eve, we've got some commitments later on in the day, but that morning, catch that ground hard.
Yeah.
Like already looking forward to it.
We used to. There were several times. I remember, I guess probably a year before last, me and Dad went and moved a bunch of round bales just when the ground was frozen.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's pretty much what we got to do this time of year. Because once it sets in raining like it has, the odds of it actually drying up anytime before spring are slim to none.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, it's I don't know. I was hoping we wouldn't be in another spell like this because I've got a shitload of track hoe work to do. Like That's the thing. Like, I mean, I was not built to be in a house. Like, I'm not built to be cooped up in a house. So that's like when it's like, and like you said, if I had an enclosed shop where I could work on it, like my header, I want to rebuild my header. I could be doing these things, but I don't have anywhere to work on it really. Like, we got the shed down to Double Bridges. I guess I could back it in, but there's no lights. Like, I mean, it's hard to see in there. I mean, and there's stuff in there. I don't even have room to put it.
Well, and there's no power down. I mean, like I said, there's no lights, no electricity. So yeah, if you're, needing to do anything, you need a place where you got all those amenities. But
I guess I'll catch my track hoe maybe. Guess when the ground freezes, because I'm gonna have to lay underneath it, and I got to figure out the leak. I got to take the plate off the bottom and get up inside there. I've been talking about that needing to be fixed for probably 3 weeks now or something. But I mean, I ain't been able to do nothing. I don't want to lay in a puddle of water and work on it. God. So I guess I'll lay on a sheet of ice and work on it. But
I'm the same way. Being inside, I just I was, as I was doing some stuff today, I was like, you know what? Today is the day I ought to be sitting on the couch, just watching a movie. My 5-year-old, my little boy, he's sick, which he actually feels pretty much fine today, but he still had a fever yesterday, so he doesn't need to go back to school till tomorrow. So he and I was like, I probably ought to be just sitting on the couch with him watching a movie, but instead, me and him were making a road trip to go and get stuff. I was like, this is miserable weather to be out in, but I just got to do something productive. Like, I feel so worthless especially if the sun's out. I mean, I shouldn't say that. If it's sun wasn't out. If it's daylight and I'm just sitting there and doing nothing, I can't handle that.
Oh, I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm the same way. That's where I've been doing one good thing. I've pretty well handled all my book work until it comes to tax season. But I'm like pretty well caught up on all of my book work because I didn't have nothing else to do. But yeah, man, this kind of weather right here for a guy that don't have a shop to work in. Yeah, I mean, it is like soul crushing. So if somebody's listening there, just know, like, you see us farmers, a lot of us are literally balls of anxiety walking around. Like, especially this time of year.
Well, it's like me today. I have my stuff I have to do every day, like my basics, like check on all the animals, do whatever feeding I've got to do.
Yeah.
Like today was one of those days I should have done my minimum, just like I would do if I was going to work, and then just parked it in the house, done some honeydews, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't. Like, it's just not how I'm wired. It's just, I had to find some things to do, and luckily I was able to find a few things. Like, so I had to make a road trip to get some pick up a few things, and so I was like, I'll do that. Might as well drive in the rain. I can't, I can drive in the rain. I can't do a whole lot else, but whatever.
Well, that's kind of what I did. I handled a little business and then just ride around. I've looked at a few different fields. Can't like pull in and look at them.
How any folks around here that you know of still trying to get the crop out?
Yeah, I've seen a farmer over on Holly Grove Road. I keep wondering. I'm like, man, I don't know when them beans are coming out of there.
Whew, yeah,
it's got beans in there.
Well, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, like, that would be just because we're in that pattern now where God only knows when you'll be able to get in there and get them.
Yeah, this December has been like the one that year that we were the year we cut in January. We cut 3 days in the month of December.
Yeah.
And we were in that boat
which it was wet all fall, which had you pushed into December and then finished like around the 10th of January or so.
Oh yeah, we were in the same boat where you were cutting it when it was frozen. Like, that was the only way you were able to get it. Like, even the beans were frozen. Like, everything was froze. But that was the only time you could cut it.
Yeah. What year was that? Was that 18?
I'm trying to remember. It might have been. It was a couple 3-4 years ago.
I remember your dad. He was just it was depressing. I mean, I know he was depressed because we were wanting to like I think the river was up and we could have been duck hunting, and he's like, I might as well hunt because we can't harvest. But he's like, but I don't even feel like going.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so like, and I'm like, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, you can't go and do that and enjoy it even though you can't be in the field because it's actively raining, but it's just like, it just feels wrong. You can't do
that's how I was. I was like that at that time. I would just sit in the house. Like there was like, because people were like, man, you deer hunting? I was like, nah. Like I barely deer hunted.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, that's the same way Dad we'd talk about it and he'd be like, well, I guess we could be duck hunting. And both of us are like, I don't even want to go duck hunting. Like, I don't want to. The only thing you want to do is just actually finish harvest. Like, and so, yeah.
Yeah, you just can't enjoy anything else. Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. That's, I'm ready for the weather to break because, yeah, I'm all out of sorts with this kind of weather. I got a lot of stuff. I mean, it doesn't help. I have a lot of stuff to do. And I mean, it'll be January really quick. Like already, I was trying to think, because in January, I mean, SHOT Show's coming up, and I had been entertaining the idea of going to that. I'm pretty sure I'm probably not, because I've got a shitload of stuff to do. Like, I've got too much stuff on my plate to go to SHOT Show. And so I'm like, any travel that I have, I'm probably pretty much nixing it now, because I'm looking at probably about 300. Man, I would say I probably have about 340 acres that I need to try to get over before next season. Now, it's not crazy thick as what I'm working on my one farm, but it's still like, it's going to take me a while.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just having all that in front of you that needs to, it just bothers you. But yeah, so that's our depressing talk.
Yes.
This episode.
Yes. If I suddenly freak out, just know it's probably just an anxiety attack.
Just worried about the weather, but and heck, it's not even winter yet.
I know. I
guess this time next week, we'll be right there at the first day of winter.
Is that yeah? Well, I got a cool message here on a positive note. So Troy Maxwell reaches out. Yeah, man, we always appreciate your messages. Like I said, go to talkdirtpodcast.com, the contact form, shoot us a message. We read them. Here it is. Troy Maxwell, man, I appreciate it. And he wrote in, he said, I was just listening to NCBA Isn't for Cattlemen. You were talking about fighters. I was a professional MMA fighter and UFC fighter after the military, mostly just because I'm a hard worker and I guess strong. Anyway, you all were talking about farm strength. I agree 100%. It makes tough wrestlers. I grew up helping on neighborhood farms in central PA and working my dad's tiny home acreage. I was always amazed how much tougher wrestlers that grew up farming were. Now, when I switched to boxing, I worked in off-time clamming in southern New Jersey, which that sounds like it'd be a pretty hard-ass job.
Yeah, that's pretty damn blue-collar.
Yeah, he said that made strong guys, too. I always said clammers would make great fighters, too. In water all day pulling clam rakes and throwing burlap bags of clams in boats and on docks. Plus that reaching and stretching to bottom to tread up some clams helped those arms get long, kinda. Anyways, I was always telling my wife, now, I'm almost hesitant to read this next part because he's got a great idea for some sort of fitness gear. And he tells us we can run with this idea. But I'm a little hesitant to just broadcast this idea
to the world.
Yeah. In case we were like, that might be onto something here. But I'll go ahead and say it because it's very similar to a sandbag. So he said, anyways, I was always telling my wife, and for anybody listening, if y'all do run with this idea, just remember Troy Maxwell, this was his idea, so y'all owe him some. He said, anyways, I was always telling my wife, if I had some money, I would fabricate a hay bale in the burlap or canvas bale with handles and sell it as the Farm Strong workout apparatus with handles to simulate throwing bales in a hay wagon or loft, carrying for 40 yards and whatnot, because gyms would eat it up. Everyone hears you're from the country, so you must have that farm strength. Just funny. And he said, you guys have a great podcast. Keep it up, and feel free to run with my idea. Thanks, Troy. Troy, appreciate you writing in, man. We want to see you. We want to see you rock and roll with that idea.
Yeah, I don't know. We can't even get a shirt made.
I know, yeah, we're struggling there, which I'm still, I haven't heard. Have you had people respond?
Nobody has said they hate it, but nobody has said they liked it.
That's
far
right.
As the farmer die idea, so I don't know. Yeah, it's we're still brainstorming there, but.
Well, that thing does remind me. So I have, for people that are interested in the farm strength thing, I've got a sandbag up there at the house, and it's, man, I can't remember if it's not Rep. I don't think it's Rep Fitness. It might be. I can't remember the exact brand of it, but it's pretty awesome, and it has the handles on it. And it would be, because after I read that, it got me thinking. I was like, this would kind of favor a sandbag. And so you can put up to 120 pounds in that bag I got. And you can actually get a bigger one that'll hold up to like 200 and something pounds of sand. I was going to tell you, that's a shitload. That's heavy. That's heavy as hell. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot different. A sandbag weighing, because mine, I have about 80 or 90 pounds in mine. And I've put it on my back, and I've just like rucked the pasture back here.
Yeah.
And this is a hell of a workout, but the sandbag, 100 pounds in a sandbag is heavy, like, because it's just dead weight, and it like moves, it kind of flows like water. Like when you pick it up, the bag is there's no consistency to the bag, and like some of the weight will shift one way. So you never can get it just quite right. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's extremely awkward. You're talking about like picking up the calf and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's exactly right up that alley.
Yeah, because that calf, it don't want to be picked up. So, it's like freaking out.
Well, I think, the farm strength, because I struggle with motivation to work out. Like it's something I struggle with from time to time.
Well, you need crushing anxiety, and it would push you to the gym harder.
Well, that and then just more time,
Yeah.
At one point today, I was like, man, I might go for a short run, which my knee is still bothering me. I thought, let's go for a mile or two, just test it out.
Well, that sounds terrible.
In this weather, yeah. But but when it comes to like, I did a bunch of stuff today. Now that's back then, I was like, man, it wasn't like extreme weight or anything, but like that's a pretty dang good workout. I got a big tote container, like chemical comes in, that I get my liquid feed. I like boxed it in with equipment where it was, and I was like, I don't want to have to move this mower and everything. So I was having to wrestle it around empty, full. Nobody could move it, but then just went and bought a bunch of horse feed and unloading 50 pounds, just stuff like that. You don't even think about it as a workout while you're doing it, but like you're being pretty active. So whether you want to, and then just grip strength and stuff, and you're constantly, so it's practical strength.
Well, it's one of the things, like I've always kind of wondered, like, what is the degree of strength that a guy ought to have to be a farmer? Like I've wondered that, because like I've shifted now. I'm going heavier. I had been doing more reps. Now I'm going to the low reps, heavier weight over this winter. But like, does a guy need, what is a good range of strength? That's kind of what I've tried to think about with a farmer, because like on the row crop side, I think about, all right, for a bale of hay is like what, 50 pounds or something?
Oh, a square. Yeah. Depending, but
yeah. So that's, that doesn't require a lot of strength. But like I've taken my quick hitch off of my tractor by myself before.
Yeah.
And that's like, they weigh, I don't know, probably 200 and something pounds. And it's like, it is like almost exactly what we were just talking about. It's shaped like an upside down U. It's
super awkward.
Yeah, there's no good way to grab the thing.
Yeah.
And so
no way to smash a finger.
Yes. Yeah. Putting it on is the hardest part. Like I've taken it off by myself quite a few times. Putting it back on is when you're like, I've not seen a guy do it by himself. Like, it's usually two of us doing it. But that's what I thought. Like, because I got buddies that are in the powerlifting scene. I got a buddy that used to be dominant in the powerlifting scene. He was deadlifting like 800 pounds, benching damn near 600 pounds or something. So, do I think you need to be that strong? No. I'm not even close to that strong.
Well, I think you can get by at probably just about any strength. I mean,
the degree of difficulty of the situation is what I would rank it on.
Because I mean, obviously, all of us know, but farmers that don't do much manually on their farm. They've either got hired help or whatever, and then you got guys that get out there and get out in the dirt and do it all. And so, so. And of course, now you see more women in agriculture too, and I mean, despite what the mainstream media wants you to believe, women and men are different. They have strengths different that aren't necessarily strength. Brute muscle strength. Than men, and a lot of them are extremely successful operators. I mean, even operating equipment and things like that, not just managing a farm, but actually out there performing the labor. But they're not mounting a quick hitch on the back of the tractor necessarily. Well, that's what I'll tell you what I've thought about on that is because farmers, which I've looked up before, what do you think the number one death of farmers is? Like accident, like
total of all the things that kills farmers, health, whatever. What do you think kills them?
I mean, I would assume it's health issues later in life, whether it's related to.
I would have assumed that
too. But
that's kind of what I thought, but it's equipment rollovers.
But it's got to be the highest accidental. Like, that's not the most common way a farmer dies.
They said that's like the most, when I looked it up.
I know a lot of farmers that have died over the years,
They've all been rolled over on.
No, but I'm sitting here like I know of that happening to people, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. It has to be the number one cause of on the job accidental.
Oh, well, yeah, I think it is on the job.
Yeah.
But let's see here, because no, I don't want to look at natives. Most common types of that's farm injuries. What is the leading cause of death for farmers? Tractor rollovers are the leading cause of fatalities in the agriculture industry.
But that would be actively,
accounting for more than half of all farm-related deaths.
So a farm-related, okay, yeah. Now that makes sense.
But because that's what I was like. I got to looking,
because
what got me looking was a lot of farmers today. Not all of them, but a lot you see are overweight or they're out of shape. And used to, farmers were kind of historically hard, because it was very manual labor intensive.
Oh yeah.
And the more industrialized we get, the further from that
it's more mechanized. Yeah, and right. Well, it's even though there is a lot of a physical component to it, there are a lot of days where you sit in a seat all day long.
All day. That's where I think farmers. That's one I kind of encourage.
And especially as you get older and you become the big guy on the operation, and you got the younger manual labor. That's
what is it? The HMFIC.
Yeah, the head MFer in charge. Because I mean, you got the young guys. Hey, y'all go load the planter, whatever. Load up all the chemical, on the water trailer, whatever. They do all that. You're doing the important stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you work with your head. You're working shoulders up.
You're sharpening your pencil. Yeah.
But seeing that, I think that's a bad way to be. From a health standpoint,
totally,
because that's where I've seen all right. And what's got me down this rabbit hole is Alzheimer's is pretty prominent in our family. There is probably, I'm sure if you and I went and got tested for the gene, there's a good chance we have that gene to probably develop Alzheimer's.
Right.
But so from a health standpoint, I've gone down the rabbit hole of and it turns out that through health, fitness, and that kind of thing, you actually can mitigate your chances of Alzheimer's almost to the same of a person that has no gene for it, to just the average person getting Alzheimer's.
Right.
And so that's what got me thinking. One, you see a lot of, I feel like we see quite a few farmers that get Alzheimer's, cancer. And I mean, look, people can be super fit and get cancer, but statistically speaking, the fitter you are, the less likely you are to develop that.
Right, because there are certain cancers that are, lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know,
I know a lot of farmers that have had heart attacks, and it's like, you know, again, now, could you have issues? Again, there's always outliers, but like in general, you know, if you stay fit and healthy, then you mitigate your risks pretty greatly of developing these issues. And so that's what got me thinking, because typically, man, as the guy gains the ranks,
and
he don't do the grunt work.
Our listeners probably all know this, but it's a stressful, you know, career. You don't always, especially like during, you know, peak times of your plant and harvest, that sort of thing, you don't always have time to eat quite right. You know, you're eating a meal in the field that you grabbed at the quick stop, you know.
Yeah.
You know, something, you know, some corn dog and some potato wedges, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
you usually pay for it a little later, but
yeah, something like gas station burritos, stuff like that, and or fast food, you know, just because you're in a hurry. And then you get to this time of year, and you got time to get inside early because it's dark at 5 p.m. and cook a real meal. But anyway, so right, it's a and it's not the only industry that has those challenges, but sometimes it's not the easiest lifestyle necessarily, you know, to be super healthy.
And that's seeing, I think about in terms of like you said, loading stuff or doing something like that. Like my point of reference on that, I think about that Pat McNamara that I had on the other show, and he is in his 50s, and Pat is like the Terminator. Like he's still super bad, and I mean he's fallen out of helicopters, and I think he completely ripped his bicep off one time out of a helicopter, like a rope wrapped around it and pulled it off or something. So he was Delta Force. He's sustained a pretty hard life. I would venture to say that he's probably had a harder life than most farmers. You know, he's probably been blown up and shot. And I mean, I've never had my bicep ripped off, knock on wood, by a rope on the farm.
He's had some pretty serious injuries. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's 50 something years old, and he is jacked, and he gets after it super hard. And when I was talking to him, I was like, man, do you hurt? I was like, do you hurt during the day? And he was like, yeah, I hurt. He was like, I hurt every day. He was like, but I hurt a hell of a lot worse if I don't work out. He said, motion is lotion. And like that term, that phrase has stuck in my head, because I'm like, man, motion is lotion. Like, you know, Dad has his hip bothers him a lot of times. And I'm like, why don't you try to work out? Let's go work out. You can do some real lightweight or just do some body weight stuff. And he's like, I've put my body through too much. I'm broke down now. And I'm like, you could start, you know, you got to start. And, so I don't know, man, that's where I think about, and that's what I look out with myself. And that's why I say there's a sweet spot, I think, of farm strength where, you know, the stronger you are, certain tasks become easier. Like, you know, I mean, a 50-pound hay bale, if you can deadlift 100 pounds, a 50-pound hay bale is pretty heavy. I mean, that's pretty heavy. If you can deadlift 500 pounds, you can chunk the shit out of some hay bales. Yeah. And so, you know, like that helps there. But now I do think I've got buddies in the strength world. There's a point of diminishing return, which this is also a very low percentage-wise, but like if you start pushing the envelope, and let's say you're getting up into them super heavy weights of bench, squat, and deadlift, then that's where you see these guys later in life that are like broke down because they've put themselves through it too hard. So that's why I think there's a good blend in there, which honestly, for the most part, if a guy will try to just stay relatively fit, and I've looked into lunch as my killer. Like that is the killer meal. Like especially during harvest, man. Yeah, because we're like, okay, what are we near, and we can get us something. Yeah. If we can't get us something, all right, there's some beanie weenies and potted meat in the truck. Like that's what we have to eat. And like you'll feel like you're having pure horrible indigestion a couple hours later, but you've eaten. And so I did order this thing that's got it looks like a lunchbox, still insulated lunchbox, and it's got a heating pad in it. And I have not got to use it yet because it came in like 2 days before harvest was over. But you can take your lunch with you and you put it in there, and you put it in about an hour or two early, and it'll actually cook your food. Like, it'll warm it up for you slowly, and it plugs into a cigarette lighter.
So you can take like some of your leftovers.
Yeah, you put them in a glass pan, put them in there, and plug it in for about 2 hours.
Yeah,
and you can, and again, it plugs into a regular plug or a cigarette adapter, and so I'm gonna try that next year because I just hate eating shit all the time.
So I'm of course my regular job affords me the opportunity. Usually I can run home at lunch and leftovers are my key. I'll make leftovers every day for lunch because I hate to waste, food, and we've always got a little more. But at the same time, like some days I can't. Same problem like during harvest. I don't have time to run home, and so I don't call and order a salad. I might do that once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
but no, I call and get a cheeseburger, which hey. Cheeseburgers aren't that terribly unhealthy.
That's what I ate for lunch today.
It's then I add fries and of course everything else. Or, I'm eating some fried chicken occasionally. That's actually when I took Willis with me today because I wanted to get him out of the house, get him out of my wife's hair. He was feeling pretty good. And he wanted to. I was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "We'll go get something to eat, even though we had leftovers. We'll stop and get something on the way." And we got some fried chicken. So I had chicken tenders and French fries. And then I got the fried pickles too, because hell, you got to order the fried pickles to go along with it.
Oh yeah, I love fried pickles. That's like one of my biggest downfalls. I will tell you one thing that does help me. I never thought it would make a difference. The calorie sign at the places that deterred me. I was in Covington.
It's crazy. Yeah.
That Zaxby's. We'll go through Zaxby's. So my kids love the chicken at Zaxby's. And man, I pulled in there and they got good fried pickles, by the way. Have you had theirs?
That's where we went today.
Okay. Yeah, they have good fried pickles.
That's exactly where we were today. Yeah.
Did you see their buffalo?
I did not look at anything except I just ordered.
Well, they have some buffalo chicken fries. And they look awesome.
I saw those on the menu.
Yeah, it's a big plate of fries, 1,700 calories. And because I thought it was a meal. And now look, I'm going to be honest. If it was a meal, I probably would eat it. Like 1,700 calories. So far right now, I've burned 3,200 calories today. So, but I lifted. So I'll burn, by the end of the day, I will burn probably damn near close to 4,000 calories. Yeah. So like, I was, at 1,700 calories. I'm like, between lunch and dinner, I skip breakfast a lot of times. So between lunch and dinner, I'm like, that's not that bad. And so I asked the woman, I said, hey, those buffalo fries, I was like, is that a side item or is that a full item? And she said, no, that's the side. And I was like, whoa, wow. I said, that like comes with your meal. And she said, yeah, that's your fries that come with it. And I actually said, well, let me get the Cobb salad. And I got a salad. but I mean, seriously, I think it said 1,700 calories.
Yeah. And see, a lot of people don't.
They don't pay attention.
Yeah.
But that struck me when I saw the 1,700 calories. I was like, holy smokes, man. Like, and you factor in, like, you get that as your side, and then you also eat some chicken strips. You have easily busted 2,000 calories.
Oh, and I'm going to drink me a sweet tea.
Yeah, me too.
With that real sugar in it. So.
It was so effective. I ordered the Cobb salad and a water, and that was what I ate for lunch.
That gum, man.
And grilled chicken. I got the grilled. That's one thing I do argue, man. Like, there are a lot there. If you actually will do it, there is pretty healthy alternatives everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, I know. Like the few times I've done keto, fast food is hard to do keto. Like everything, but one thing is like you get a salad with like some grilled chicken or preferably some sirloin steak. Not many fast food places have that, but it's really hard to eat out in general if you're trying to do something like that because like every meal comes with carbs. Like it's hard because you're basically just eating meat and maybe some green vegetables. But I don't know.
Well, that was like I said, that was kind of eye-opening for me. So the calories thing kind of saved me that day. But that's that's one thing I think about. Like, as we're farmers, we are very active in general. Like, I'm out and about all the time. But we do also have to factor in the fact, like during harvest season, I am sitting in a seat for 10, 12 hours a day.
That was one thing I was thinking of earlier. There was a guy, and I think he was on another ag podcast, or he's a farmer up in Kentucky. It's Thomas Farms, but he put something on Instagram the other day. He said, why is it that as farmers, we can go out and like we're doing manual labor, go all day long, and barely even stop to eat. But as soon as we sit down in the cab of a tractor, we can't sit there for 5 minutes without like wanting a bag of chips or something to start munching on. I was like, yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, in other places beyond just ag too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm up moving around, like and doing activities where you're actually burning calories, but you're staying busy.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't think about it.
You don't even stop to eat sometimes, or it's 3:00. You hadn't eaten lunch. You're like, oh gosh. But yeah, if I'm just sitting still, somewhere, like I don't know, you have to. I'm bad about, which thank God I avoid a lot of meetings, but we're required, to go. We have to get so many hours of continuing education. So you're just sitting there. It's like I'll be sitting in a meeting and I'm like, I've got to have something to munch on, like, which I drink a lot of coffee no matter what the setting is, but I will just pound the coffee and whatever snacks they've got. And it's like, I don't know, I'm bored. I got to do something. But,
well, I think that's why a lot of farmers dip and smoke.
Yeah.
That's why, I used to dip.
I've gotten to where I chew the heck out of sunflower seeds.
Yeah. I like those a lot, but
the sodium is what kills you.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could probably get them that aren't salted, but what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
But I sit there and just...
Oh, yeah.
I got to where, like, during hay season, I would go through some dang sunflower
My mouth
seeds.
would get raw.
Oh, yeah. The same way, yeah.
Yeah, it'd get raw. My tongue would even get raw from, like, popping them, like, cracking them, splitting them open. But, yeah, that's why, dipping, it's weird. I've always said that, like, 'cause I dipped for several years. And, man, the fact of just grabbing a bottle and spitting in it.
I've talked to multiple people about that, whether it's you're talking about dipping tobacco or smoking. But like my dad dipped his whole life. At one point, his insurance got ridiculous because they've classified him the same as a smoker.
Yeah.
And he's not even like a heavy dipper, so he's like, well, dang it, I'm not paying this extra rate. So he had to quit.
Yeah. Started dipping coffee, didn't he?
I think he may have only had to quit for a little while.
Yeah.
And then like retake the blood test.
Yeah.
Yeah. If his insurance agent is listening, this is all just a fictional story.
Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Just a guy I know. But it was all about just having something. And so he got to where he would just take coffee and just because he had to have something. Like just the act of doing it. And I think he would actually take a little bourbon just to moisten it a little.
Yeah.
And and he would dip coffee. But
he still does.
There's other like tobacco alternative
Well, now they've gotten pretty good. Yeah. Now there's some pretty good ones. Like when I quit, there was like none. That Smoky Mountain had kind of just came out, and it was corn silks, and it's not that great. Because when you dip, you want to. When you spit, you want to have dark spit. And that Smoky Mountain, I didn't have dark spit. Black Buffalo is pretty legit. I've tried it.
Like?
They don't tell you. They won't tell you what it is. They keep their blend secret. Like,
it seems like they got to give you ingredients.
It's their like proprietary blend, they call it, and they will not reveal what it is. But I've tried
tobacco.
Probably. I tried it. Now they had, because I've dipped just very rarely. I don't dip really now because of my nicotine tolerance is non-existent. But like, I did order. Black Buffalo has non-nicotine and they have nicotine kind, and I ordered a couple cans of both, and I tried it. And you spit dark, and I liked it pretty good. Yeah. The nicotine kind, I did mess up one day. I was dipping it. And now when I dipped the kind with nicotine, I would have to take it out after. I couldn't dip it very long because I didn't want to start getting sick. And
you'd start to get a little bit of a buzz.
Oh yeah, you get a buzz from it. It was medically grade nicotine, they said in there. And so, man, I was dipping it one day, and I just felt pretty good, so I just left it in there. And I did. I got sick. I got pretty sick. So, but Black Buffalo's pretty good. Dad, he dips that Smoky Mountain, and he's the same, man. He's just got to have a habit, which I was bad. Dad and your dad is similar. Dad would put such a small pinch in. I'm like, what's that even? What's the point of that?
Well, so that's my dad puts one in. You can't even tell it.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't spit.
Yeah, like that's how Dad does.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little.
Which is what they actually said. I mean, for people that don't know, I mean, my dad, he had bladder cancer, and they said that was part of it. They said when he was swallowing the tobacco spit, they said there's nicotine in your spit when you're swallowing that, and they said it was sitting in his bladder, and they were like, that's the dude, because the dude actually came in when he was like, before he had surgery, he was like, bet you're gonna quit dipping now. He said, and Dad was like, what do you mean? He said, that dipping's probably what caused your bladder cancer. He said, because you said you swallow your spit. And he said, yeah. And he said, it just sits in your bladder. And so Dad quit. He dipped Smoky Mountain. And I mean, it's corn silks, but he's even said, he's like, this stuff ain't very good. But he pours a little bourbon in his just to wet it up a little bit. But Black Buffalo is pretty good. I have tried, there's another one. Man, what is it called? There's another one that's coffee, and it's pouches, and it's not bad, but it's all about, man, the habit of it. But I was a bad dipper. Like Dad puts in a little bitty one. I would put like a huge dip in.
You're like a cowboy.
Yeah, you knew when I had one in. Like, the guys that used to chew, and they'd have the big, huge ball in the side of their jaw.
Well, see, I like to chew. Like, I can't dip. If I put in a dip right now, I'd be like, you got to be sick, but.
Oh man, where's your red man at? We got the red man hat right here.
Well, see, they went woke, and I think they had to take I don't even think they call it red man anymore.
They got rid of the Indian?
I think they did. I've always been a Levi Garrett.
Well, that's what I chewed when I would chew.
Yeah.
But yeah, Levi, when I dipped, I didn't chew it because chew never would do anything for me.
Well, and maybe that's why I can chew, because I'd put in a dip, and after about 10 minutes, I'd feel like I was going to get sick, but I can chew. And it's one of those things, like, I don't chew every day even. But like if I'm down at the farm or barn, I'm working on something. Yeah. Like, I just feel like I need to put one in. It's more of a, just a cool thing. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't do it to look cool because I'm down there all by myself, but it's just like, I don't know. I used to do it when I played men's league softball. It's like I felt like I need to put a chew in. That's the only time I'd chew all week. Yeah.
I get it, man.
Duck hunting, stuff like that.
I was like, man, when I quit, I was dipping a can a day of Copenhagen wintergreen. I was like, man, I could have eaten the stuff back then. Like, I was dipping it so much. And I mean, you put a huge dip in, and I'd leave a dip in for an hour or so at a time until it was just dried out and spit it out. And I mean, just a little while later, you'd have another huge dip in, and you'd have to like move it around. I think I started dipping like way back here because it would make your gums sore. Yeah. And that's what finally I quit. But at the time I quit, there wasn't a lot of good stuff. There's all kinds of stuff now. There's like, there's one called like Fully Loaded, and there's a bunch of different ones. But and I would encourage you, look into some of the alternatives. There's enough of them now that they taste pretty good.
Just don't start the habit.
Yeah. If you aren't doing it now, don't. Because
get the sunflower seeds.
I have quit dipping. It's probably been 10 years since I've dipped, and I still would enjoy a dip when I'm on the combine. Like, I mean, there's still times when I'm like, boy, a big fatty would be nice right now. Yeah. So that ended up turning into like a fitness and health episode.
Which, on that topic, I ran to the grocery store right before I came here, and I don't know, and I actually bought it, and I left it out there in my Jeep, but I could not believe this. I was in the aisle, and I've never been more convinced there has to be potheads in the research and development at some of these companies, but it's a Reese's with potato chips in it.
Wow.
I was like, what?
Did you say you bought some?
I bought one. Like,
to
they
try
were individual. Not even to try it. Like, I was like, I got to show people this. Like,
I'd have to try it.
Like, am I high? Like, as I looked at this, like, what?
Reese's and potato chips.
It's like it looked
Crumbles
from
of
the
it?
pictures like crumbled up potato chips inside of the Reese's cup, like with the peanut butter.
That sounds like something a stoner
Yeah,
that
it's
has
like
the
this
munchies
is
would figure out.
exactly like it might be the only time that would sound appetizing.
Yeah. Well, see, now I'm intrigued. It's kind of worked.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
That's what I looked at it for a second. I was like, that is ridiculous. And I sat there for a few seconds, and then I grabbed one.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, yeah. Have you tried the Coke coffee?
no, I've never even seen that.
They have it up there at the grocery store.
So it's a Coca-Cola brand coffee?
I guess it's like, I don't know if it's like, I've seen it in the little refrigerator right there.
Oh, it's like a cold drink?
It's in a can.
Okay. So
And
it's
it's
like
a Coke coffee mix or something.
I'll grab like the Black Rifle, like cold brews every now and then,
Yeah.
one when I'm at the store. Damn, the things are expensive.
Yeah, and they've kind of, I'm just not real huge with them no more.
Okay. I don't even know what's going on there.
Yeah, they kind of softened their stances a lot. It seems like they're kind of trying to, I think, be more appealing to the masses.
Be more mainstream now.
Yeah, they
gone
went public,
Yeah.
which just ain't worth a damn, because I bought some stocks in there. I was actually talking to a buddy today. I was like, did you buy any of the Black Rifle stock? And he said, yeah, I did. And I said, me too, and it ain't worth a shit. And he said, no, it ain't. I said, I need to get rid of mine. He said, yeah, I sold mine at a loss. And I was like, I'm sitting on a pretty good loss right now. I said, but I'm waiting on it to hopefully get up enough to get rid of it.
But
I don't know. You got the company today?
Well,
I don't remember who it is. I can't even remember.
I think you did go last week. Let me look at I got my running list. Had one of my other notes open. That's the other thing I did right before I came here when I was at the store. I ordered my ribeye roast. Mark Maggiore.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So, I went by the store, ordered my Christmas ribeye roast for them to have ready for me to pick up next weekend.
All right.
Or just before next weekend.
Start off with 2 words. Made in America.
That's right. Made in America.
Made in America.
2 words. Two glorious words. But no, the company I got, actually something I just bought and just used for the first time today. Had it delivered yesterday, used it today. It's the Greg Judy Bale Unroller. So some of you out there may be familiar with Greg Judy. He's the regenerative rancher. Green Pastures Farms is the name of their farm, their website. They got a YouTube channel. But he made a bale unroller that you can pull. So it picks up a round bale of hay, picks it up, you can carry it out to pasture and unroll it using just a 4-wheeler.
Gotcha.
That's what they use. I use my side-by-side. But all sorts of advantages, to unrolling your hay versus feeding it in the hay ring. But they were the first ones to really develop one that you could pull with a small machine like that, so that you also get the added advantage, especially on a day like today. It was the perfect time for me to put it to use.
Yeah.
I didn't have to drive a tractor out there in the pasture and rut everything all to hell. Worked really good. You can, I'll have a YouTube video up probably by the end of the week on it, but he's got some good YouTube videos on it, obviously too. But, it's actually, and I say that it's his design. It's actually made by a company also right there in Missouri, I guess nearby to them. Reject Ranch.
Nice Reject Ranch. I like that.
But you go to the Green Pastures Farm. If you Google Greg Judy, that's spelled just like you would think, just Judy. Green Pastures Farms, their website comes up, and I emailed them. I was like, hey, how can I get one? Because you can go pick them up from them, but they're like 6 hours from us. And they're like, actually, we've got a load of them coming to Tennessee. Because normally it's way too much expensive to have one shipped.
Yeah.
But they're like, we got a load of them. If you want to, I got like shipping half off, splitting it. And I was like, well, heck yeah.
And that's when you should have said, well, let me tell you, I've got a pretty substantial YouTube following.
Well, right. And I should have, but theirs is bigger than mine. And so.
Well, that don't matter.
Right. But I'm saying that they've got their even own advertised, which heck works, because that's how I knew about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm excited to use it. I don't think it'll totally replace me feeding any hay out of hay ring bale feeders, but I think it'll replace a lot of it. And to get that added advantage of spreading that hay out, because I don't know of anybody that feeds their hay like that doesn't believe in it. You hear a lot of people, our dads being one of them, that are like, oh, I don't. they're going to waste it, whatever. Like you hear a lot of negatives from people that haven't ever tried it.
Yeah.
But most everybody that's ever tried it really likes it. You get a lot of, I mean, you're putting fertilizer all, putting a lot of grass seed back out there on the ground. A lot of other benefits. And that's kind of his thing. Like he's huge into the regenerative. I mean, that's why he's kind of known as the regenerative rancher.
Yeah.
But
well, I do got one thing I meant to add. Y'all go check that out. But this was kind of cool. So I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. There is, have you ever heard of Grant Hilbert?
No.
All right, he's, let's see how old he is now. He's probably, he's 24 years old. And he grew up on a farm, and this is just kind of neat. At 15 years old, he started a YouTube channel showing farming simulator videos, just playing the video game.
Yeah.
But he would work on the farm, like he actually farmed with his family. And when he got home at the end of the day, he'd play him some farming video games.
He didn't get enough.
Yeah, he couldn't get enough. Well, he started putting up videos of the farming simulator on YouTube, and it says now he has kept doing it. Now he has over 1.3 million followers, and he just bought. He's 24. He just bought 250 acres of Iowa black dirt for like 1.8 million. I mean, an Iowa dirt is ungodly expensive for people that don't know.
Yeah.
But it's really neat to me because he's just, the dude was like, he's a kid. He started a YouTube channel. He's putting it up there. And it actually said now apparently he's working on releasing a video game about farming that's supposed to be better than Farming Simulator. So, but I was reading that and I was like, man, that's pretty neat because, there's always some people that they're like, man, my dream is to farm, but it just never happened. And it's like, it's just too far out of reach. And I get that. It is a terrible, it's a struggle to try to make it happen, especially if you don't have family in it. But I was like, this dude did it. Now, he had family in it, but that wouldn't have mattered if he was making freaking 1.3 million followers. He's making some jack.
Yeah. It's hard not to be, if you've got, that big of a following.
Yeah. I mean, so it was pretty neat to me. I'm like, man, he literally used YouTube to buy almost $2 million farm. And his channel, I mean, YouTube is still very much alive and well, especially in the farming world. People are hungry for it. But I thought that was pretty cool. So it's like, man, if whatever your hobby is, hey, figure out a way to leverage it for your benefit, because that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Now that is a neat story. Where'd you come across that?
It was actually, the funny thing, it was actually shared on, and you'll get a kick out of this. So it was shared on Facebook, and it was shared by a farmer, and he was making fun of it. He was like, and I saw him, he said, yeah, I guess us guys here in the South, we just don't have time to be making all these videos. And Kelly Griggs commented on there, and she said, we just met the kid. He's a really nice kid and all this. Kelly and Matt, they run the Griggs channel on YouTube, and theirs is doing very well. So it's kind of funny. She was very nice, didn't say anything else. But yeah, I saw in the comments this farmer, which he's kind of big for his britches. He thinks he's kind of hot shit. But he said, yeah, we ain't got time to be making these videos out there. And which is funny to me because it's like, you can find the time for whatever.
Yeah, I didn't think I had time.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, I feel like right now I don't really have time to make the videos, but.
Well, and I'd want to be like, well, how much time do you spend on Facebook? Like you're here on Facebook. Like you got time to be on here.
It's like not having time to work out or anything else.
Yeah. It's just, what are you willing to make time for?
Yeah, you're going to make a sacrifice somewhere else.
The farming one, it's like most of the farming channels, they're actually filming them working. Like it's not like they sit down and make
the filming part isn't the issue at all.
The editing, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I don't do super intricate editing. And I see some of these other channels that got they really do very good graphics on their thumbnails. And I'm like, man, I should do that. But I was like, but if I had to do that, I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd quit altogether. And so to me, I'll do a little simpler. The KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Just get out more content, but keeping it more basic.
Yeah. But no, I thought that was pretty cool. It's a cool story there.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
So, we don't shit on you for going after it, man. Give it hell is what I look at it, and give it hell. Go for it.
Well, there's always going to be haters.
Oh yeah.
No matter how, good, successful, big you are, and being, going about it in an unconventional manner is going to brings
them out.
And you know what? I found out that being unconventional is saying, oh yeah, you got to do something a certain way because it's always been done that way is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
Go for it. Do your thing.
There you go. Good ending wisdom there. Guys, leave us a message. Reach out to us on talkdirtpodcast.com. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, shoot us a comment below. Reach out to us. We love to hear from you guys. And that's all I got.
Yeah, that's it. We'll talk to y'all next week.
Yep.